Count Dracula had directed Jonathan to go to the Golden Crown Hotel, where he was expected. After greeting Jonathan at the door, the hotel's elderly landlady nervously handed him a note. "My friend, welcome. I am anxiously expecting you. Sleep well tonight, for tomorrow you will take the final leg of your journey by carriage to my castle. I trust that you will enjoy your stay in my beautiful land. Your friend, Dracula." "Do you know the Count?" Jonathan asked the landlady. "Can you tell me anything about the castle?" But instead of answering him, the old woman simply crossed herself, handed over the room key, and hurried away. Early the next morning, however, she knocked frantically on his door. "Oh, young man," she cried, "must you go?" Jonathan replied that indeed he must, for he had important business to conduct with the Count. "But don't you realize where you are going?" the landlady asked. "And on what day?" She didn't wait for an answer. "It is the eve of St. George's Day. Tonight at midnight, all of the world's evil things will take control." Jonathan tried to comfort the old woman, but it was no use. Finally, firmly, he repeated that he had a job to do and would be continuing as he planned on the last leg of his journey that night, by coach. "Well, then at least take this, if only for your poor mother's sake." She took a crucifix from her around her neck and reached up around to put it on his. Curiously, after the crucifix, she pressed tightly into his hand a head of garlic. After she left, Jonathan took off the crucifix and looked at it. He considered throwing it away along with the garlic, an old German of England. He didn't really approve of or believe in such things. Feeling strange, lingering uneasiness, however, he put the cross back around his neck. When the coach arrived that evening, a small crowd quickly gathered around it. Carrying his bags, Jonathan walked past the coach driver, the elderly landlady, and some other hotel guests. All seemed to be staring at and discussing him. In panicked and pitying whisper, they kept repeating the same word, "frolic." Upon opening up his little dictionary once he was seated in the coach, Jonathan learned it meant either werewolf or vampire in Serbian. As the coach pulled away, Jonathan noticed many people in the now growing crowd making the sign of the cross. In his tiny journal, in which he recorded in shorthand everything that happened to him, Jonathan made a note to ask Count Dracula about the townspeople's strange superstitions. Jonathan wondered why even his fellow passengers were looking at him so sadly. As they rode, the mountains and forests towered around them in beautiful colors of deep blue and purple and green. As the sun began to sink, however, dark shadows and ghost-like clouds replaced that rainbow, and the darker it got, the more restless the driver and the other passengers became. "Can't you go any faster?" one passenger asked the driver in a harsh whisper. "I'm trying," the driver wildly whispered back. Indeed, although they seemed to be making good time, the driver was obviously racing. Jonathan held on for dear life as the carriage rocked wildly on its spring. As the coach approached the Borgo Pass, heavy thunder filled the sky. The driver and the other passengers craned over the edge of the coach, peering into the darkness as though looking for something. Jonathan looked too, but there was nothing and no one there. "Too bad," the driver exclaimed. "The coach that was supposed to meet you to take you up to the castle is not here. You cannot wait here in the dark alone, as there are too many wolves about, and I must continue on. You will have to come with us. I can bring you back another time." "Too bad," the other passengers murmured. But why did they all seem so cheerful? "Not so fast," said a deep voice. A carriage driven by 4 coal-black horses pulled up alongside the coach. This must be the Count's assistant, Jonathan thought. The man's face was mostly hidden by a great black hat, but Jonathan could see a pair of very bright eyes, glowing almost red. "You were extremely early tonight," the assistant told the driver. "But I anticipated your game. Now give me the gentleman's luggage."